Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for tuning in. Today, I would like to introduce you in this first series of Women in Business to Carol from Hustle Hub. Hi, Carol. Thank you
Hello,
so
thank
much
you for having
joining.
me.
Pleasure.
No problem.
So, Carol, could you tell us a bit more about your business and, when you started it, how you started it?
Sure. So Hustle Hub is a sales, marketing, and communications consultancy. What makes us slightly different is that we focus on small business. So we focus on businesses that don't have a ton of resource, but are having to compete out there with large organizations who do have teams full of people and lots of money to spend. So we work with these smaller businesses, many of whom are actually started and owned by women, and we help them to compete, do a lot with a very little. I started the business, it's now about 7 or 8 months ago, so very much still in the startup phase, in the beginning phase. But so far, knock on wood, it's going well.
Oh, that's amazing to hear. So, Carol, what is it that you love most, about working for yourself?
I would say the biggest reward that I have working for myself is that the sense of achievement when you have to, everything's basically down to you, and the sense of achievement of helping clients achieve their goals. When we work in large organizations, we are one of many stakeholders around the table, which has its own, wonderful pros to working like that. You work as part of a team, everybody makes a contribution, and then you all move together. Whereas if you run your own business, it's really all down to you. So I find that very rewarding. And to be able to see these small businesses reach more customers, be more successful, generate more sales, and it's because of the work that you've done, for me, that's incredibly rewarding.
Oh, that is beautiful. Yeah. So, what are the kind of lessons, that you learned throughout this journey that you actually wish that you had known more about before?
Yeah, there's quite a few. There's quite a few extra grey hairs. I suppose the biggest lesson that I learned is you start off with a plan and you think this is going to be the business, and it sounds perfect to you. You think you've thought through every loophole, you've thought of every possible shortcoming, or you've seen all the opportunities and you've prepared yourself for it. And when you start, I realized very quickly that was absolutely not true. To give you an example, my business model has changed 2 or 3 times already, just in the last 7 or 8 months. I've had to really pivot and change the way we do things. So that was something I hadn't anticipated. I really, having come from a very analytical background and very much from a business background, sat down and really thought that I'd planned and thought it all through. And the moment you start, you have to change your plan. So it's having that ability to be agile, to be able to pivot, not to be too you need to kind of honor the original idea, the reason why you started the business, but you also need to be able to move away from things that may not offer you the opportunity for success, or may not offer you the opportunity to achieve everything you want to achieve. So it's kind of not being precious and holding on to things that prevent you from moving forward. So that was really a very interesting observation that I've had just in my short journey. And I'm very fortunate to be surrounded by women who are veterans in owning their own business and starting their own business in the region and around the world. And they've all said to me, that is normal. Your business will change all the time. It will evolve all the time. So I feel like I'm in good company when I say that.
Oh, that's great. But also, thanks for sharing that, because, I think a lot of people that are in your situation as well, like with a startup business and, in mine as well, it's good to know that it's fine, to change your business model, because sometimes people can get really scared and think like, oh my God, this is really what I wanted to do, but it's not working. So what now? Did I fail? So it's great actually that you can share that.
You're right. And the question of did I fail? I went through that. I went through 2 miserable weekends at 2 separate times going, has the idea that I started off with failed? Do I just need to almost abandon everything and move on? And that's the other, I suppose the side effect of working alone is that you you have to sit down, you have to have the tough conversations, you have to go back to basics and say, you know, does this idea still work? Is there still opportunity? Do I still believe in this? And if in spite of everything, you can still answer those questions as yes, then you need to be able to pick yourself up and adjust your business model and move forward. But that sense of failure, I think the first time I felt that way, I thought, oh, but, you know, I'm ready to give up already. You know, this clearly isn't a good business opportunity. But really, if I look back at it now, it's having that feeling that allowed me to pivot and open myself up to other opportunities, which I'm now reaping the rewards for. So not to feel down about those senses or those moments of a sense of failure.
Yeah, so it's important to know that, you know, we need to keep believing, you know, at any point, you know. So we started something because, you know, we want to, you know, pursue a dream, you know, we want to follow, you know, our dreams. And, you know, there's nothing as failure. There's just about, you know, believe in yourself, keep developing yourself, and just make changes at any time. Because as well, I do believe that, you know, the initial view of a business that you set up, that will change over time anyways. So, you know, it's all about, you know, keeping that in mind. And thanks
Yep.
again for sharing that, because I believe that it will be very valuable to many people out there.
I hope
So
so.
I believe that this, you know, is one of the challenges that you faced, so which is a huge one. So is there any other challenge that you want to share that would be important for, you know, young woman or any woman, you know, out there that would like to start, you know, her own business?
I think that the one challenge that I've particularly come across is developing trust and building trust. You know, as a startup, I'm basically starting new. I'm starting fresh. So working with clients who don't have a lot of resource, and saying that the little resource that you have, trust me with that, and I can help you. You know, help me help you. And it's building that relationship of trust. It's a challenge, but it's not, you can't not overcome it. It's not insurmountable. And really what I found, and the best way to overcome that challenge for me has just been communicate. Tell people what you're thinking, tell people what the goal is, tell people what you're trying to build towards, share information, teach what I can teach, and learn from the client what I can learn. And that is the best way that I've managed so far to overcome the challenges of building trust with partners. But I really do believe, and this is, you know, not the first time that I've done this. Having come from a sales background, I did this for a living, so it was quite, you know, I'm quite comfortable doing that. But when it feels very personal, you really just want to do good work. You want people to allow you the opportunity to do good work, and building that trust just takes a bit of time. And it's different with every client. Some clients will off the bat go perfectly fine, go for it, whatever you want. Yes, you want to make it purple, make it purple. And other clients will really want you to go through the process with them. And you know, the result will be a compromise between your vision and their vision. And that process is just, it takes time and patience and, you know, quite a lot of energy, but it's really rewarding when you get to the end and the client looks at you and says, that's amazing. I'm so proud of that. You know, thank you for your help. Oh, I mean, I just,
That's why
like
you're
payment
doing
in
it
full for
for, you
me.
know, that's the moment you
Absolutely.
say, yes, that's why
Absolutely.
I'm doing it.
Absolutely, 100%. So that sense of just satisfaction and perseverance, and you know, there's a saying that I pretty much live by. Anybody who knows me knows that the saying is, you know, very important to me. Nothing worth doing is easy. It was something that somebody said to me many years ago, and it's just always been my guiding light. And really, when you invest the time and energy to build that relationship of trust, to build that collaboration with your client, you know, it's not the easiest path to success, but once you do it, oh, there's nothing worth, you know,
So
worth more. It's
fulfilling.
just
Yeah.
so fulfilling. Yeah.
Beautiful. So at last, so what advice, you know, what is the best advice, you know, you could give to women that, you know, want to become entrepreneurs?
You know, there's so many things. I could talk for 10 minutes on this because there's so many things you want to say. But I think the thing that is probably the most important message to communicate is, women are brave. We are instinctively brave. We take on new experiences in life. We take on challenges all the time. So, my advice wouldn't be to be brave. My advice would be to be kind to yourself. So when things maybe don't work out perfectly, that you're kind to yourself. You go, okay, what can I learn from that? It's not a failure. I'm not a failure. What can I do better? Take that learning and go and do better. So just to be kind to ourselves. It's something I've had to have a lot of coaching on myself. Just being kinder to myself, allowing myself to make mistakes, or kind of reflect on something and go, I could have done better there. I need to do better going forward. But that process of just being fair with ourselves, we are able to forgive and get over so much for other people, but we seem to really hold on to stuff for ourselves. And in the business world, there's a time and place to be hard on yourself. But when you're starting out and you're learning and you're figuring it out, you need a high degree of resilience. And you don't get that high degree of resilience by beating yourself up.
Very
you
true.
need to be kind to yourself. The other bit of advice I would give, which is not as not as important, but as fundamental, is just don't be too much of a perfectionist. Don't let your perfectionism stop you from proceeding. I would rather do something, learn from it, and then do it better the second time than not do it at all because it's not perfect the first time. So that's, kind of all part and parcel of the same thing.
Those
Go
are
out there, be brave, learn, improve as you go, and don't beat yourself up. Basically.
Thank you so much for sharing that, and thank you for being with us today, Carol. I really appreciate, and I'm sure that there's been a lot of very valuable advice that you have given for women that are just currently starting up a business, or those who have a dream of becoming an entrepreneur. So thank you so much, and thank you for everyone watching. Thank you for joining us on the first Woman in Business interview. And I would say take care for now. And as Carol said earlier, be kind to yourself. Bye-bye.